to Revisewell. Dear students, in today's class, let's learn about the two significant religions which got emerged during the 6th century BCE. Which are they and who are their founders? Let's learn from the chapter called Rise of Jainism and Buddhism, the chapter number 6 of history. So, in order to know about the emergence of the religions, we do need to know about the situations which were present during that century. India is a land of many cultures and religions, isn't right? There is a famous saying or a term called as unity in diversity. Why is India got its recognition as diversity? Because many religions are practiced here, many languages are spoken here, many cultures are followed in India, and the food style, the dressing style, everything will be differs from one geographical region to another geographical region. That is why we call India is a land of many cultures and many religions. So among all such important religions, we are going to study about two such important religions called as the Jainism and the Buddhism. So these two religions have got emerged during the 6th century BCE. BC stands for before Common Era. And what is the duration of this 6th century BCE, children? Which starts from 600 to ends by 501 BC, as we are going with the backward counting. So what made these new religions to arise? What made the people to follow? And what made the people get attracted towards these religions? So firstly, they got emerged during 6th century BCE at the river Ganga plains, and the founder of the religion called Buddhism is Gautama Buddha, also called as Lord Buddha, whereas the founder of Jainism is Vardhamana Mahavira, also called as Lord Mahavira. So what are the principles which have been taught by these two important religious founders called as? The principles are such as peace, non-violence. Peace means Shanti. Non-violence means what, children? Ahimsa. And they have also taught about the tolerance, bearing the things, and the values which are associated with the human. So these are some of the simple principles which are taught by these two famous founders of the new religions which attracted the people to follow the new religions. So these two the reasons for the emergence of these religions were in the contemporary social and political systems. What do we mean by contemporary? Contemporary means the incidents which took place at the same time, or it might be taken place at the same duration or same period. They are called as contemporary. Especially what are those systems called as social and political systems. So by the previous chapters of history, I think you are all aware of the Varna system, which was in practice majorly in all the parts of the India. So especially there were the system called as the Varna system, which has made the divisions of the caste one after the another based upon their profession. So let's see which are those Varna system during the Indian society. By the time of 6 BCE, Indian society was divided on the basis of what? Varnas. Which are they? Brahmanas and Kshatriyas being at the highest position, are the first two Varnas being the Brahmanas and Kshatriyas. The later or below that Brahmanas and Kshatriyas comes the Vaishyas and the Shudras. So we have made the hierarchical pattern here. That is, the first position or superior position was given to the Brahmanas. Later it will be followed by the Kshatriyas, whereas somewhat less position was given in the Indian society for the Vaishyas and the Shudras. So what was the role of the Brahmanas? Brahmanas are nothing but the priests. So what were they doing? They were performing the yajnas, sacrifices. The religious rituals were almost all performed by the Brahmanas, because they are the ones who are known with the language called Sanskrit, and they are known with the hymns which are present in the Upanishads and the Vedas, isn't right? So apart from that, what were the other professions they were followed? To perform the yagnas and yagas, to act as a priest. Alright. So they were also receiving the gifts from the kings and as well as the payments. Whenever they perform the yagas, and we have come across with some of the prominent yagas called as Ashwamedha Yaga and the Rajasuya Yaga. So during these yagas, they were also receiving the gifts from the kings for their performance. The next hierarchical rung comes to the Kshatriyas, who are basically soldiers and as well as the kings, acts like the warriors. The second class of this Indian society was with Kshatriyas. So they were getting the taxes or the collection of the taxes, which was probably getting from whom? From the farmers, because farmers are those who produce the crops with the lands which are provided by the kings. So in turn, the farmers used to pay some tax or revenue for the kings. The next comes the Vaishyas, who are engaged in the animal husbandry. Apart from the agriculture, apart from the profession called as agriculture, the second most important profession of the farmers was their cattle rearing itself. That is animal husbandry, where they depend upon their animals in order to obtain the products. And these people were also engaged in the business. We can call them as traders, merchants, craft persons. These are some of the occupations which were followed by the Vaishyas. And they are also called as Dvija, which means twice born. Dvi means what here? Twice or two. And still, the society has not given that respectable status for this Vaishyas. They were still under the prohibitions. There were some restrictions still imposed on those Vaishyas. The lowest status or the last among the Varnas comes the Shudras. So they are considered as the labor class or the people who are of common class. And what were the professions followed by them? They were following the household laborers, some of the people, and they also were some of the skilled workers. Skilled workers are those, some of the menial jobs were also followed by the Shudras. So this was the Indian society during the 6th century BCE, where it was almost dependent upon the Varnas, which are subdivided into Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishyas and Shudras. On the basis of their occupations, the status was given to the people. The Varna-based society, which we just spoke about, has created the tensions and complaints among the communities. So most of the people were not ready to accept the status which was given to them. Especially the Vaishyas were not ready to accept that position which was seen or which was given for them. During this period of 6th century BCE, the teachings of Gautam Buddha and Lord Mahavira appeared as new hopes for them. Isn't right? What were those simple teachings? What were those simple principles they taught children? Specifically, they have focused on the peace, non-violence, tolerance and human values and belief in themselves. That is their hard work and as well as in the living in the society with a comfortable things. So in most of the ancient times, the contemporary agricultural practices and rise in the food production played a very major role. Not only during that period, children, even now the food production and the agricultural produce plays a very important role. So contemporary means, as I have already told you the meaning, that is happens at the same time or at the same period. So these have played a very major role in the profound changes which occurred in the system of political and as well as religious system. So firstly, the people were not ready to accept these complications which are happening in the society on the basis of political system that has made the people to get attracted towards the new religions. The eastern part of the present Uttar Pradesh state or region and the present Bihar state, especially the location of the south and the northern part of the Bihar state, they were emerged as the new economic structures based on the new religion, sorry, based on the new agriculture. By 5 BCE, iron implements have come into use. So slowly, as they are all known with that agricultural production is very major role it plays for their economic income or for their welfare or to do some of the economic activities, agriculture is the most predominant one. So they started to make the production higher by using the special implements which are made up of iron. Not only that, children, they have also made use of the animals called as oxen, which has made their work easier and as well as the production became higher. With the iron blades which were used in the implement called as ploughing machine or used in the ploughs, that became more effective and were driven by the oxen. The pair of oxen were driven by these plowshares or nothing but the ploughing machines which are made up of the metal called as iron. In order to improve the food production, because agriculture is the major source for living, so they started to make use of the oxen, which has been become inevitable. That means it has become a source or it has become a necessity. The oxen were sacrificed during some of the religious rituals, which brought down their number, not only for the sake of agriculture, which has helped the farmers a lot. They were also using the pair of ox in order to sacrifice during the religious rituals. So since Jainism and Buddhism rejected the animal sacrifice and advocated the non-violence, as just we spoke about the principles which were highlighted during the 6th century BCE, especially by these new religions called Jainism and Buddhism, they were totally against to the practice of non-violence and as well as the animal sacrifice. But whereas the other Varna system in Hinduism especially, during some performance of rituals, they were having a common practice called as animal sacrifice. So I can say that this was also one of the reasons why people attracted and converted their religions or followed the new religions from their earlier ones. So as a result of these things, people got attracted to the religions called as Jainism and Buddhism. During this period, cities has grew. Which are those cities? Kaushambi, Kushinagar, Varanasi. So these are all the states comes under the state called as, these are the cities which comes under the state called Uttar Pradesh, whereas Vaishali, Rajgriha and Chirand are the cities which comes under the state called as Bihar. So these cities have slowly started to grow. First being the lowest rung called as Janapadas got identified as Mahajanapadas. Slowly the identification has also come in the form of kingdoms. So these are the major cities which has been started to grow on the in the states of present Uttar Pradesh and Bihar. You can see in the location in the next slide. So these became the prominence and artisans, business people came and settled in these cities. Coins were used as a means of exchange. So until then, the system of barter was in practice. I hope you know about this barter system, children, where the exchange of goods to the goods used to take place. Later on in the next generation, slowly they have made use of the coins, which has been become a system of exchange with their goods. And who are the artisans called as? They are called as the skilled laborers who are good at the craftsmanship, that is basically the items which are made up of hand. The Vaishyas, which about whom we spoke, being the Dvija or twice born, who were placed in the third place in the Varna system, commanded no respect from the society in order to escape from these limitations, or they were having some of the prohibitions, as I told you. So, in order to escape from these limitations and prohibitions, they enforced the Vedic religion, and on their social status, the business class supported the Jainism and as well as Buddhism. So, in order to escape from the limitations which are enforced or which are pressurized by the Vedic religion, the Vaishyas specially wanted to get followed with the religion called Jainism and Buddhism. Firstly, who got attracted in major number? One are these business class people, for whom we call as merchants or the traders. So that is the major reason why the Vaishyas got attracted and made them to follow the religion called Jainism and Buddhism. So here you could see the location which we have told, like Rajagriha, Vaishali, Varanasi, right, Kaushambi. So these are some of the cities which have been started to grow, and they are located in the present states of Bihar and Uttar Pradesh. So coming to the Janapadas or Janapadas and the Mahajanapadas, which are nothing but small territories and the large territories. In the river Ganga, plains were getting transformed into kingships. Firstly, they were small areas where the people firstly started to settle down permanently. Slowly, these territories called Janapadas has been emerged into large territories called as Mahajanapadas. And then they got the identification in the form of kingships. That means the territory, not only territory got developed, as well as the people who were living in that areas were also practiced many occupations. The new kings from these Janapada communities were looking for a way out to break the hegemony. Breaking out means to abolish or to remove. Which one? The leadership of dominance, especially by one state or one social group over the others. So that was the main aim or the agenda of those, in order to remove all those restrictions or the dominations which were showing on one state on the another. They accepted the philosophy of Buddha and Mahavira, who preached the futility of war and supported the non-violence. So, what made the people having that healthy support or attraction? That is, they were totally uh, against with the ahimsa, called as non-violence, and they wanted to implement the principle called as peace, right? So that made these people, in order to get attracted and also follow this new religion. They rejected the luxurious life, that is, the life which is made them comfortable, and advocated the peaceful living and as well as with the moral family life. Instead of Sanskrit, they preached the people in their own language. What does the they here represent? The religions and the founders called Mahavira and the Buddha. They have totally rejected the luxurious life. They do not want to live in that comfort life where they were always having a quest or search for the knowledge, quench for the knowledge. So they advocated the principles called as peaceful living and as well as having a moral family life. So this has not only one of the asset of following the religion, and they have also given the importance for the local languages, the common languages such as Pali language and Prakrit language, instead of preaching those principles in the language called as Sanskrit. They have offered new paths to the people by rejecting the Vedic religion, because in the Vedic religion, basically, the animal sacrifice used to take place, the yagnas and yagas, where people used to feel that these richness and these luxurious, the unwanted rituals are few, that doesn't brings any identity for the society. So, these two new religions have specially given the significance and importance for the peaceful living and as well as living with non-violence. So these are some of the important advantages and as well as the situations of political, religious and social system during the emergence of Jainism and Buddhism.